Hello, everyone. Wendy Zen here. Today is the 13th of April, 2025. Currently pick up an XRP for 213,901 at the time of this recording. We look like we had like an inverted head and shoulders form here on the chart. For those who don't know, inverted head and shoulders usually it's like this. Looks like this. Hold on, let me finish connecting this line. This is a shoulder, left shoulder, right? Then this is like a head and then a shoulder. And usually when we see that, we see some pumping. So we can see it here. It's actually gone up a little bit. I think yesterday it was up like 6% ish. Let's look at the daily. So it closed at 6.62%. In the green, again, head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders right here. And then when we have a regular head and shoulders, usually that indicates a sell off. So as you can see, this tiny little head and inverted head and shoulders, created a pump. And then this big one is going to create some downward pressure, in my opinion, not financial advice. Excuse me. So that's what it's looking like on XRP. We currently see it's down 1% on the day, not much. But I mean, considering we have a big high time frame regular head and shoulders sell off, I expect this selling pressure to get worse. So here I'm gonna have this going. This is from Anders on X. Nothing happens until global crisis arrives.
I would say if you look back in history, the times at which a dominant currency was displaced, it was always a bit of an accident that brought it. It's not like a smooth trend that like eventually brings it to parity. Something happens in the world, it's a crisis, it's a war, and that catalyzes a major change. So these processes, I think, are probably going to be very nonlinear. At the same time, I think it's hard to imagine that it will happen in the next couple of years. It's clearly something that's a bit in the future.
Well, let's hope we can reach to that state without a war. That would be really hope.
So that right there is Christine Lagarde, head of here. She's for the IMF, but if I recall, she is part of the European, the central bank in Europe for the EU. And here we had a professor of economics in Harvard. I'm not even going to try to Emmanuel Fari. Um, so how he's talking about global crashes happening to make things move. Excuse me. And here we have the fear and greed chart. We are currently in fearful times, and that usually is a pretty good buy signal. You know, when you're looking at charts, specifically when times are down, right? Let's just look at XRP real quick on the weekly. This is XRP during a lawsuit. No one wanted to touch it. Fear, fear, fear. This lawsuit. Now we see it's one of the best performing crypto assets in the past 90 days and what has been so far this bull run, which I think we're just seeing a retrace. I don't think the bull run's over. I think it'll continue. We know we got to go lower before we get higher, according to this fractal, assuming it plays out right. And I just think it shows that, whoops, this always happens. I just think this shows us that things are going to get a little bit worse before they get better. Maybe playing into this fear, and then you might have a good time to buy. Not financial advice. Here we see the charts displayed a little bit simpler. This is one of my posts. We can see this dip happening, and just the outline of this fractal, how similar they are. I think it's pretty close. Here we have a post from Smoke Dog. Read this and understand why you're not late yet. Ultra's early stage crypto investor. Enter crypto. Crypto just happens to be the latest crucial innovation following Moore's Law. It's the next log of technology working to help decentralize and distribute networking and control and ownership of those networks. I was thinking about that earlier today. I was just kind of bringing together all this fragmentedness. Um, Coupled with things like edge computing, crypto also helps solve biggest bottlenecks on internet centralization. As Natalie pointed out, centralized networks are hitting a wall, and crypto is nibbling away at centralized networks faster than 99% of the world understands. I want you guys to keep that in mind. Crypto is nibbling away at decentralized networks faster than 99% of the world understands. Keep that in mind here. Just remember that. Banks, for example, are already biting their nails about how much decentralized finance DeFi could eat away at their bottom line in the next couple of years. If you look at the adoption rate of crypto around the world, it's faster than the growth of the internet in its early days. That said, if you think you're late to the game, you'll be happy to learn you're wrong. So, yes, that's why we see the integration of banks. We know how many banks are being onboarded with Ripple and XRP specifically. This is a great post from Smoke Dog. I want to thank him for that one specifically. And when we talk about this point of 99%, right? 99% of people don't understand this. You look up tariffs on X, you get a meme, an inverse Kramer, another meme, right? There's some illegal immigrant thing. And then we had like this AI video. I was taking a look at this, right? The guy was working on the shoe and then he pulls out a burger up. This guy's hands are all weird. This is people's understanding of the tariffs. This looks like some UFC event. Um, yeah. And then you look up crypto, hashtag CryptoPump. This one, if I recall, was one of the bigger hashtags. I thought I was saying it here. Uh, let's see. I thought it said it has like a bunch of posts associated with it. This was one that was recommended to me. And we see Solana giveaway. Let's see this.
In the most important decentralized financial network on Earth. With an eye to fiscal responsibility and innovation, the legislation outlines a plan to phase in the acquisition of up to 1 million Bitcoin, or roughly 5% of its total final supply over 5 years. Importantly, this will be done without raising taxes or increasing government debt. The Bitcoin Act is designed to be budget neutral, relying on...
Okay, so Bitcoin Act. Let's see if that'll go through, right? So they're already saying it's going to happen. Maybe it will. And then we have Jimmy Fallon. We have an ad. We have this guy saying, so people will eventually be worth $60,000. He just has like a Google AI thing. I already took a look at this. Pepe Coin, a meme with a cat, you know. um, AI Trump making bread apparently. Whatever this is, Ethereum, and I don't know. It just doesn't seem like much is going on here. Meme
Friends,
coins,
welcome back to my channel.
you know. Um, and then we wonder why 99% of the people don't understand. And this goes back, I think, to this point. Honestly, big things start happening. People they distract people, and you know we know where the money's going to be going. I'm gonna have to show more posts on this channel of specifically how much banks are integrating with Ripple and XRP specifically. But if you know where to look, you could see where these crises, right? Um, not a light word coming from an economics professor at Harvard. Um, but if you do research, you know where the collapse. It's only a rollover. They're not going to just completely destroy the system. If you believe that the rich are controlling everything and manipulating and whatever, you could think the worst about the rich and the elite and the people at the central banks and at the IMF and the World Economic Forum. But that's not to say, you know, where's it gonna go? Like, it's not just gonna go up in smoke. It's gonna go somewhere. It's gonna, life keeps on going on. It's just in with the out with the old and within you. Excuse me. Not financial advice, of course. Could this be just the transition? You know, And if this pattern repeats out for a third time, which I'm not saying that at all, because we have to see how XRP does in each one of these individual phases, in my opinion. I'm just outlining so far it's looking good. This is looking like the best indicator of XRP price thus far, so I think we could keep on trusting it. But we watch it and see what it does. Let's see how price reacts if it gets to $1.35, 85 cents. Somewhere in that. Let's see how it goes if it pumps up to 20. Let's see if it trades down, hits 10, and has these little corrections along the way, 50 to 30, almost 100 down to, what does that look like, 60, 70? Who knows? Who knows? But let's see. Only time will tell, right? Well, I guess if anyone's watching this, take it easy. Peace.